Okay, here we go. Tuesday, December 12th. It's day two of getting back into trading. Um, Yesterday, this was my portfolio, and I pointed out that I had 41% of the portfolio in Tesla stock. This looks all messed up. So, you don't want to have 40% of your portfolio in any one stock, really. So I reduced that down to 16.5%. I should probably reduce further because really Tesla does not fit with the strategy that I'm going for here with swing trading, episodic pivots, which I talked about in day one, what an episodic pivot is. And we're going to keep looking for episodic pivots to invest in and swing trade. The other stock I traded today was INAB. It was a biotech with good news. We'll talk about that. I'm going to go through top gainers, which will include INAB, C4, which is another biotech. These both had good news, but the stocks traded differently. And the theme today, I'm going to be looking at how to time your entries, where to put your stops, and I'm still learning as well. I'm trying to figure out the best way to enter and exit stocks. We'll look if there's any earnings wins. I don't think there were. It's not really earnings season. And then we'll go back, if this video isn't too long, to the screener and look at the top performing stocks over the last few months, and see if there are any more to add to the watch list that I started yesterday. So let's go over and look at the top gainers for the day. Oh yeah, we'll look at the market real quick first. Basically, it still looks really strong. So today it was up 0.5% right here. So that's good. I mean, you don't have to think about it too much, but good to keep one eye on that. So, home screen on FinViz, you have the Dow, NASDAQ, S&P. We have our top gainers here. So the first top gainer is CCCC, C4 Therapeutics. So if we take a look at them, look at their daily chart, it's down a lot this year. It's down a lot over the last couple years, and looks like it went public in 2021 or 2020. Around $25, peaked at 50. Now it's down to like $2. So that's a pretty familiar chart at this point. Anything that went public in 2020, 2021 might look a lot like that. So yeah, this is a biotech. Take a look at their website. Let's take a look at the news that triggered this surge. So 7 a.m. C4 Therapeutics announces license and research collaboration with Merck, which is a huge company, which is very good news for a small biotech. I, for some reason, kind of missed this. So if you look here at 7 a.m., so this is why it's good to have the intraday chart. So yesterday it closed at 118, and then today at 7 a.m. the news came out. It opened at 125, so that's probably didn't show up immediately as a top gainer. Once it got to maybe like 30% up, which would be like 150-ish, it should have hit the top gainer scanner screener, or the front screen on FinViz. Anyway, you can see here it did very well pre-market. Sometimes FinViz doesn't load correctly. So yeah, the news, the website. Let's look at their market cap too. So market cap 115 million. That tells me that it's not, a complete piece of shit company. That's a decently, it's a low market cap, but it's not like 20 million, which would be, you would be suspicious of that company being legit. They have 439 in cash, which is good, probably from their IPO. They raised money. They're losing 275, 250 a year, so they have enough cash for 1 or 2 years on hand, which isn't terrible for a startup biotech headquartered in Watertown, Massachusetts. A lot of biotechs in Massachusetts. I am in Massachusetts. Targeted protein innovation. Doesn't mean a whole lot to me. What else could we look at? They actually have sales, which is interesting for a small biotech. Usually you don't see that. So they're selling something. They're licensing their technology, possibly. Anyway, let's look at the news from today. They announced a license and research collaboration with Merck to discover and develop degrader antibody conjugates. This is a very popular thing. I would say in the cancer space, antibody conjugates. So initial focus on one oncology target, exclusive to collaboration. Merck has option for 3 additional targets. Oncology, that's cancer. So Merck is huge. So this is a very positive, it's positive, very positive news for C4. C4 will receive 10 million up front. So that's 20 cents per share. It's not a whole lot to add to their cash, but they are eligible for milestone payments totaling 600 million. So that's 5 times their market cap. So very good earning potential. So that they're eligible for 600 million milestone payments as well as royalties. So if the treatments are successful and go commercial, they will also be paid additional royalties ongoing. So that sounds like a great deal. If Merck exercises all of its options, C4 would be eligible to receive up to 2.5 billion. So I think it said they were doing 1 treatment and then had the option of doing 3 more. So that would be probably why it's 4 total times 600 million. That's about 2.4 billion. So potentially extremely lucrative for C4. I wonder what phase this is in. Probably extremely early phase. But they'll get pieces of the 600 million as they go. So very good news to get paired up with Merck. So how did it trade? It was up all day basically. I mean, you could have pretty much bought it at any time and made money. So you're probably not going to catch it right here at 7 a.m. You know, if you're checking the market around 9 a.m., reading news, this is where you would, you know, hope to catch it. Uh, and the way news gets taken, it could dip. We're going to look at a different stock that traded much differently today. But if you bought it here and you risked the ATR, which is 28 cents, you would have been fine. 28 cents would be probably a good stop on this one. It gives you, you know, it's like a 10%, more than that. It's like a, you know, 15%, something like that stop. So you could have bought the open with 28-cent stop loss in place, and you know you would have gotten at 180. It closed at 235, so 50 cents. It's a nice gain on the day, and I would probably keep holding it. Yeah. So if we go back, the next top gainer was this ADTX. This is a good example of, I would say, more of a piece of shit stock. And I'll show you why. The market cap is $1 million. That is tiny. So, interesting stock. Not going to spend too much time. I kind of traded it. I shorted it here. Didn't really make any money because the spread was wide and I got filled all over the place. Didn't want to watch it, obviously. Plus, with a small float, you know, it can take off on you really quick. Basically, I would just avoid this. I pretty much avoided it. Of course, I couldn't resist shorting it since I was able to get shares to short, but didn't make any money. So let's see. Next one. Didn't look much at this one today. This is getting bought by AstraZeneca, so there's really not much to do in terms of trading this stock. When a company gets bought, it's just going to look flat all day. So next one. CHSN, China restaurant. Interesting. What was the news? I mean, it started going up like crazy on December 4th. So there's no news since October. I mean, this is not something I would really look to trade. $140 million market cap, like no cash in the bank. Just a weird company from China. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who trades these. What's the volume? 6 million shares, 9 million shares, so who knows what's going on with that. INAB. I'll save that for last. I'll look at this one real quick. Aurora Mobile, China. Yeah, I didn't trade this today. Moonfox data. JD.com. Profit exceed expectations. I don't know. It's China. I don't really want to trade it. I didn't trade it. I didn't really care about it. So yeah, now let's look at INAB. Daily chart. So, in a range up to $4 over the last year. If we go back further, it was up much higher. Looks like it went public in 2021, around 10, 11 bucks, something like that. Now it's down to like $1. Excuse me. Company in New York, market cap 50 million. So pretty tiny, pretty tiny. They have 40 cents of cash per share in the bank. They're losing. They lost $1.12. They're gonna expect to lose 58 cents next year, so they need money. Doesn't look good from that, but we'll look at the news in a second. Focusing on developing novel therapies for cancer, including solid tumors, employing allogeneic and autologous genetically modified gamma delta T cells. Who knows exactly what that means? I know roughly, but it's not in-depth knowledge on the exact thing. Today, December 11th, so that was yesterday, 9 a.m., they announced pricing. Let's look at this real quick. They raised money 9 a.m. yesterday out of nowhere, seemingly. They raised 14 million and potentially up to 32.5 million. I read some of this. So they sold warrants at $1.22 per unit. So that means the investor thinks that the shares are worth more than $1.22. That's my understanding. Series A 125, Series B 150. So this investor, stands to profit. Once it goes above these prices. That's all I really understand in terms of that. That was yesterday at 9 a.m. And then after the close yesterday at 4:05 p.m., they announced this positive clinical update. So let's look at that. Demonstrating continued durable complete remission in 100% of evaluable patients in a phase 1 trial. So that is remission of cancer, complete remission in 100% of patients. That sounds extremely good. Sounds like they cured cancer. So phase 1, usually you're not testing the efficacy of a drug. So it's strange that they would be showing efficacy of a drug in phase 1. So I don't totally get that, but I did read through some of it, and they had 10 patients, so very small amount. And it does seem like it helped, or it did cure their cancer or prevented remission. So I don't know if this cured the cancer / fought the cancer, or it was just given after the fact. So these patients were receiving HSCT, which is some type of stem cell, and I guess there's a high risk of relapse of leukemia, but this stopped it. I don't fully understand, so I'm just going to trade the stock. Seems like very good news. So let's look at what happened when that news got released at 4:05 p.m. yesterday. So it closed at 128. It immediately shot up to 170, and this keeps getting cut off. I don't know why. I'm going to refresh page. So yeah, I saw this small float Uh, took off when the news was released immediately on 175,000 share volume. You can see the volume here if you hover. Um, I got in around, I started looking at the market, and this took up all of my attention for the most part. I was reading the article, um, the funding. So, they funded like 50 cents a share. That's probably going to get them through this year. That's, 12 million or something that they got up front. So I thought this, is great news, even though it's phase one. Um, you don't want to get too excited with phase one. Uh, but so yeah, I got in here. I sized a little bit too much, I'd say. If we look at the average daily range, it's only 13 cents. So if you put a 13-cent stop and you got in at 163, you're going to be stopped out right here. I was I don't even remember what I did, but I was in and out a little bit. I didn't do anything too stupid. Um, I pretty much just held all the way from here down, back up, and then I bought some more once I thought it might break over the opening range. So that's a popular breakout position. But this market, it's not super strong, really. It's not great for breakouts, from what I've seen. So anyway, I was ended up pretty much breaking even on it. But I'm still holding, I would say, a full position overnight. Um, but I wanted to compare this chart to this chart. So both biotechs had good news in the pre or post market. This one went up, consolidated, continued to go up. C4 that collaborated with Merck. A little bit of a larger company, but pretty much a micro cap biotech. This one went up. It's more like chopping around, but it did consolidate here, and instead of continuing to kind of go up smoothly and consolidate, it dipped off the open, reversed around 10 a.m. It got down to below where it was when the news broke. So that's surprising. I had confidence just in how good the news was to hold, even though probably wasn't smart. Yeah, I don't know. This is an episodic pivot, though. It's great news came out, and we'll kind of see where it goes from here. I'll keep a close eye on it and set a stop. We shall see. Excuse me, I added both of these to my watch list. So let's take a look at that. I have alt. This had a good day. It dipped below the 10-day average and came right back up. Myo is holding, consolidating. Shot, which I'm in, is just holding in a consolidation. JM Smucker continues to go up, which I continue to hold after some good earnings. Myo, I forget what this is, so I'm going to take a look. Kind of started going up July 3rd, and then a lot more November 6th. So July 3rd, they accepted the application to classify MyPro as a brace. Whatever that means. What do they do? Oh yeah, I remember this. People who lose the use of their limbs, they make like an exoskeleton thing. Pretty cool. Early November, they started really taking off. So something to do with Medicare covering their equipment. So that's obviously legitimately good news. 112 million market cap, sales 15.5 million, growing to 18.5 million this year. Cash per share 40 cents. They have enough money to not go bankrupt. Tiny stock, so I would watch for a breakout if it breaks out above 450, or if it runs into the 20-day. I don't know. It's just one you gotta watch. See if it starts to break out. What else is there? So that's it for news today. Both of these are, had legitimately good news, I think. We'll watch how they trade in the next few days. So now, if I go and look, see if there were any earnings beats and whatnot. So this week, earnings, we'll go to performance this week. This isn't an exact way to see if there was any earnings. And now if we go to maybe snapshot, nothing's up much. Micron earnings are December 20th. So I don't know why that showed up in the scan. That's not this week. December 18th, that's also not this week. Nike, December 21st, that is not this week, so something's wrong with this fucking thing. Let's do, next week, that's why. Alright, let's look at performance again. Damn. So these top 6 are over 10% up. Let's take a look, see. This reported today. I didn't see it on the scan. So let's take a look. What's the next one? SSD. Loop Media. Interesting. Don't really know what they do. Something to do with filming stuff or something. Today, aftermarket. Okay. Revenue increased not that much. Gross profit decreased not that much. Gross margin decreased. Net loss compared to a loss. So nothing really good. Excuse me. Mostly bad, I would say. So what the hell is going on here? It's down 136 down to 90 cents. Yeah, who the hell knows what's going on here? Is there any news? There was some news here. They were expected to beat earnings. Interesting. Well, that was wrong. Well, that was a lie. Yeah. So, weird one. What else we got? December 12th, aftermarket. So, let's see. We're doing it live. If it's good news, might jump in. System 1. What was the, market cap 76 million, market cap 208 million. Specialty business service. Very specific. Engages in the development. Marketing company. Also provides antivirus and privacy software. Sounds super legit. Oh, I'm up to 30 minutes. I didn't mean to go this long. Interesting. This looks like it was a SPAC because it's flat and then it goes nuts. Let's see. Sales are way down from 2022. Kind of makes sense with like the economy and marketing, advertising spend being down. They have very little cash and they're screwed. It doesn't look like a good stock. But it looks interesting now. It's peaking up. What's it doing like this minute? Not really anything. It was up from 177 to 221, so it made a big move into the close. They don't even have the earnings here. It's not really worth looking at. It's so thinly traded. I don't want to waste any time on it. MESA Air Group, MESA horny. Earnings hasn't happened yet. It's perking up. We've just seen two examples of, well, one example, maybe two, of companies perking up into earnings. This one was not a good trade at all to stay into earnings. It's down to 90 cents. You definitely could have made money on the way up once you saw it moving up, but not worth our time. MESA Air Group, USA. It's an airline. Never heard of it. $50 million market cap. It's interesting though. December 11th. Oh yeah, Bluebird. They make school buses. I read it. I don't think it's too exciting. What else? I want to out. This will probably be it for today. Going to 2.4. It's perking up quite a bit, and travel stocks are interesting right now. It's down quite a bit, as high as 16. It is interesting, but I mean, you can't really hold it into earnings. They're reporting December 14th after the market close, so that's Thursday. Not worth the time here. Let's look at the performance screener real quick. I'm gonna filter. It has to be companies over 50 million because most of the companies under 50 million are not super legit. One other thing I wanted to talk about was I think people and myself included, when you're looking for stocks that you think are going to go up, and you look at these stocks that have gone up so much, you think, well, how can it go up any further? So I just wanted to look, if you look at performance year to date on these, the top performing stocks year to date, this is up 1,800%. This is up almost 900%. 800%. And now if we look at the performance of the half year, a lot of these are like 400, 400%, 800. So the point here is that, they can still go much higher. And on the flip side, you don't want to buy things that are down because they can go much lower. If you buy this, if this stock started at 100 and it was down 90% to $10, and you thought, oh, this is a deal, you bought it, put $1,000 in there, now that would be worth, almost nothing, like $20. Because if it started at 100, you bought it at 10, now it's at 20 cents, which is crazy. Let's take a look. I'm interested now. Oof. They have 55 cents per share in cash. Yeah, this is not going well. All right, I'm going to end here. I will be back tomorrow to look at top gainers and check in on the watch list and try to figure out the market. All right, bye.